Hi, welcome to B3 Comics. Today we're reviewing All New X-Men number 6. The issue is once again written by Brian Michael Bendis. David Marquez temporarily takes the artistic reins from Stuart Immonen. The issue begins with Jean Grey. She is having trouble controlling her telepathic powers and is visibly losing it. Fortunately, Kitty comes in and helps her regain control. As the new overseer of the original 5 X-Men, Kitty tells Jean that she is the new leader of the team, since she is the one who convinced everyone else to stay. Meanwhile, young Scott is having trouble adjusting. The crimes of his older self have made him an outcast. He decides to leave the school by grabbing a motorcycle. Unfortunately, it is Wolverine's chopper, and he decides to chase him down. Young Scott arrives in Westchester and decides to check out the modern world. He goes into a convenience store and sees a Rolling Stone cover with his face on it. Wolverine catches up to him and is surprisingly non-violent. However, Scott decides that he isn't done seeing the modern world just yet. He blasts Wolverine and takes off. The issue ends with the reader seeing Mystique looking at an iPad. She sees that there is a young Cyclops in the present and says that she needs to see him for herself. So it's definitely cool to see Mystique again. The last time we saw her was in Wolverine and the X-Men. She was going after a newly emerged mutant, just like Angel was, and they kind of went head-to-head. It was for the Shark Girl, and, Shark Girl ended up going to the Jean Grey school. So seeing her pop up again in Bendis' run should be interesting. I mean, the original 5 X-Men already have their preconceived notions about her, so we'll see what kind of game she has in store for them. Like, we saw in the little teaser that she's going to have her hands on young Cyclops, so that should definitely be interesting. But another thing I really like about this dynamic is I feel like in the post-AVX world, with mutants emerging everywhere, it's kind of like almost like a gold rush for New Mutants. There's so many different teams they could go to. I mean, like X-Force is recruiting people, the Wolverine School is recruiting people, old Scott is recruiting people to his new Xavier School. We even saw the new Hellfire Club run by those kids. They're recruiting mutants. The Braddock School, which is now in Avengers Arena, seems to also be recruiting mutants. So it's like there's all these different options for where these newly emerged mutants could go, and I think that's really exciting because they kind of have choices now. Rather, after M-Day, but before AVX, it's like all the mutants, like there were so few left, they all had to join pretty much Scott's side, or, some of them stayed evil. But for the most part, you didn't really have any choices. Another new theme in this issue was we kind of got to see more of Kitty Pryde and her new role in Bendis' X-Men. And now last issue she said that she was going to be the leader of the original 5 X-Men's team, which I wasn't too wild about because I've never been a huge fan of Kitty Pryde. I understand, she's arguably the most photogenic of the X-Men because her power is very defensive. It's not as scary, so that plays better to the average person. But now Bendis really seems to be positioning her as the new Xavier. If you look at the cover, it's Kitty sitting in a chair, and then kind of the shadow behind her is of Xavier. And I just think it's just not fair to compare her to Xavier. It's not fair to her, and it's not fair to Xavier. So I really don't like them drawing that kind of comparison. I don't think it's justified. So for me, one of the most exciting parts of this issue was seeing Cyclops, young Cyclops. He knows he's an outcast, and it was really just great when he stole Wolverine's motorcycle and rode off. I know people out there who are fans of the X-Men movies. If you'll remember, I think it's in the first movie, Wolverine steals Cyclops' motorcycle and kind of drives off with it. So this is kind of like a nice twist on that, referencing the movies and kind of this new status quo. And if you really think about it, the role reversal is just so huge because when Wolverine first joined the X-Men, he was more of the outcast. He was kind of the savage fighter, and Scott was the respected leader. But now it's the complete opposite. Wolverine's the respected X-Men, while young Scott is kind of the young outcast. But it was kind of cool to see Wolverine chase after him. I thought that was kind of funny. And then also Cyclops eye blast him and, kind of tell him to go away. But I actually did like the change in dynamic because in the previous issue, Wolverine seemed ready to kill Cyclops. He's like, if we kill Cyclops now, then that should correct or change the time stream and, make Charles Xavier alive again. But in this one, Wolverine, I sort of got the feeling he was almost ready to be more of like a mentor to young Scott, which I think would be really just awesome if it was, a matured Wolverine could have a new relationship with Cyclops. He can avoid all the mistakes he made with old Cyclops, and they could be really good friends and allies and really help each other out. So I pointed out that, Scott is no longer the leader of this original 5 X-Men team, and how that could kind of change his standing and, maybe personality a little bit. But now that we know that Jean Grey is going to be leader, because Kitty basically says, since you're the one who got everybody to vote to stay in our present, you're now the leader of the X-Men. So I think it'd be really interesting to see if that changes her entire character, because, throughout X-Men history, Jean Grey's been the beloved one. Like, everybody loved her. Old Scott Summers and Wolverine basically fought to see who was in love with her more. And I think now, if she's the leader, when you're the leader, you always rub people the wrong way, and it'll be interesting to see if she becomes kind of more the uptight, despised one, kind of like Scott, and Scott becomes the more like laid back, likable one. I just think that'd be a cool dynamic. One of the all-new X-Men meetings I was looking forward to the most was Warren meeting Angel, because I assumed that would be incredibly traumatic to know that you turn into Archangel and then, you essentially die, but a celestial seed, like, almost creates a new person out of you. And they finally had that in this issue, but I felt like it was kind of anticlimactic. They didn't really address anything. It was more just like Angel saying like, hey, let's go flying together. So I hope that comes back more later, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So when it comes to giving a grade to All New X-Men number 5, I still really like the series, but I'm going to give this issue a 3.5. I really didn't like the kind of comparisons they were trying to draw between Kitty and Xavier. Stuart Immonen isn't on art anymore, and that was like one of the things I actually liked most. I mean, he'll be back, but yeah, 3.5. So thanks for watching this review of All New X-Men number 6. Before I go, I got a question for you guys, though. Earlier in the video, I brought up the fact that New Mutants have so many choices on where they can go. They can join the Wolverine School, the Xavier School, the Braddock Academy, they can join the Brotherhood, the Hellfire Club, the Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, you name it. If you were a New Mutant, what team would you join? Leave your answer to this question or any other questions I talked about in the video below, and thumbs up if you like it. Thanks!